Hello, welcome back. It's been a while since I've made a video, but I wanted to share a couple things that I've learned from killing trees. Look at that. Now, this is part of my little bonsai hobby, and I've just dove right in, pulled some trees out of the yard, tried to turn them into bonsai, and failed. And so here's a couple things I learned. Oh, you want to be on camera too? Yeah, we're filming. So this was one of the first ones I tried, and this was actually something I cut down because it's the European mountain ash, and it's basically invasive here, or it's not native, and it's naturalized, and it doesn't like take over, but shouldn't be here. So I just cut it down on my own, and then went back like the next year, and it had sprouted up all these little spots, and I thought, wow, that's gonna be a great bonsai. Look at that root structure. It was just had a really cool lean to it also. Seemed like it could have been a really good bonsai, and I killed that one. And I think the reason I killed this one was just I didn't water it really. And that's probably for me the hardest part of bonsai is watering the trees, because it takes a lot of work. And I also, one of the things I did wrong was I put it too far away from the house. And bok bok, the chickens. Yeah, the chickens are going bok bok. Put it so far away from the house that I didn't want to water it because I was kind of lazy. And so I think that's a lesson to learn. If I'm going to grow bonsai, I need to keep them close to the house so I can remember to water them. Otherwise, I think this thing probably would have lived. It was actually looking okay for quite a while. It did survive the transplant for a while. You can see I had chopped quite a number of roots, large roots on that. It had survived that operation, and you can see there was some nice feeder roots in there. It was ready to grow, but water your trees. Now, that's why I'm using these sort of aggressive species, because I hope they can survive really well, and I think it probably would have. Definitely, there's a lot of other things I could have done better. The soil I chose was not the best. The pot was not the best. And I think that's some of the things that went wrong with this cedar as well. So this was another project, this Western red cedar, that I thought had this beautiful root structure that I was going to try to work into the design. You know, as I look at it now, maybe tilting it a little bit that way would have been maybe a little cooler. As I kind of think about it, for some reason I sort of just put in the pot going straight up and down. But anyways, I thought this would have been a pretty cool little bonsai too, and just kind of grow out. It had a good amount of foliage on it, kind of grow out some of this foliage and have it be a little tree there. But that also failed. And once again, I think the problem was not enough water. There's also maybe, this pot's pretty large, but the soil I used was a lot of the native soil, which is got a lot of clay in it, and maybe got a little strangled in there. But honestly, I think it was probably not enough water that was the problem, not lack of oxygen and aeration, because these cedar, I've discovered, can just be planted straight into water, because there's one that I put in the creek down there, and it is growing, and it's just a tree, like a rooting a cutting. I just did as an experiment, just stuck it right in the creek, and now about a year and a half later, there's a root ball there, and it's growing happily in the creek. It's the creek dries out in summer, so maybe it got a little bit drier, but it's basically like standing mud puddle into the water, into the creek as well, and it grew roots and stuff. So my lesson there is that this Western red cedar can take a lot more water than what I previously thought, and so I'm pretty excited to do that in the future. This willow, of course, is looking great, and that's what I did with that one. I just stuck it in a bucket of water. So I'm learning some things, and it's good. I think probably most importantly is learning to have some respect for these trees. Both of these two trees were coming out of the yard. They were ones I would have cut down anyways, so not really like a huge loss there. And I don't know how old this thing was, but probably maybe 10 years old or something, maybe even a little less. but I do want to respect the trees. I do think collecting trees should be done ethically, sustainably, with a lot of care and respect. And that's why I think it's good to practice and learn so that I can kill a couple trees and learn from that experience. So if I do go out and collect something that's really beautiful, really amazing and old, I can do it with that much more care and attention and probability that it'll survive. Well, I hope maybe you've learned something from my failures as well. And it's been great hanging out with you. See you in the next one.